Hi everyone, Suzanne here, and it is January and it is time to get started on getting some seeds planted inside. I am in Zone 6B and I am going to show you what I have going so far and what I plan on starting in the next few weeks. Hi everyone, I am down in my little grow light area down in the basement, and I am going to show you what I have going so far in January 2026 as far as seedlings, what I've started so far, and what I plan on starting yet this month. Just a reminder, I am in Zone 6B, so everything that I'm starting pertains to the conditions for Zone 6B. So keep that in mind. Know your zone, know your last frost date and know what your cold hardy plants are and your plants that obviously cannot withstand frost at all. So keep that in mind as I go through the things that I'm starting. Your journey might be a little bit different because you might be in Zone 5 or Zone 7, whatever it may be. So I'm going to show you what I have going and also just show you what my space looks like down here in the basement. I'm a big believer in that you do not need to be spending a lot of money to start seeds in your home. You do not have to get the most expensive grow light. You don't have to get really tall growing racks and all of this stuff. I will show you what I have. I have been doing this for, I say, at least 20 years. I think I started seeds when I was about 16 or 17 is when I started seeds on my own for the first time, and I've been doing it every year since then. So about 20 years, and I'll show you what I have. All right, so let's start off with the poor looking stuff. This fall, way back in like October, I planted some snapdragons. One of these is delphinium and one of them is rutabaga, and I don't remember which is which. And the reason I started them so early is because we had planned on taking one of our raised beds and putting some greenhouse film over it and basically turning it into a small high tunnel, and I was going to put these guys in there to overwinter them. We have not gotten that far yet, so they are still clinging for life here in the basement, but that's on my to-do list. So these were not planted in January, so they don't exactly go with this video, but I do have them down here still. So let's move on to what we have. What I started in January. This tray is an entire tray of snapdragon seedlings. And if I zoom in enough, you can see a teeny tiny green thing right there. That is one of them, but there's a whole bunch coming up in here. They're hard to see through the camera lens, but there's a whole bunch coming up in here. This is how I start snapdragons. I take them in just a regular tray that has no cells in it. I sprinkle the seeds out, and then as they start coming up and getting to a good size, I will take like a pencil or a flat tip screwdriver and kind of poke them out and then put them into singular cells. So hopefully I can do a video on that when we get to there. All right, next we have a tray that I'm really excited about. I tried a Winstrip tray this year. They are a bit of an investment, so I only tried one, but they are supposed to do what's called air pruning. So the roots should not develop like a root wad down at the bottom. So I'm really excited about this. I can't tell you how it's going to work. It's just going to be an experiment. But I have lettuce in here. Here's my lettuce. I started these early again. Instead of direct sowing them, normally I would direct sow lettuce, but I want to get these started now because they're going to go under our makeshift high tunnel. This middle section is snapdragons that I wanted to try in this Winstrip tray to kind of compare to how they will do when I get them into singular cells that are not air pruning. And then back here is Chinese cabbage. I always start Chinese cabbage very early. It handles frost like a pro, and The quicker that it can mature and you can pick it and enjoy it and eat it, the better chance that it does not get wormy, because it gets wormy fast. So that is that tray. My next tray is a mixture of things. Normally I don't label, and that's fine because I can usually tell what it is when it starts coming up, but I did have to do a little bit of thinking on this one, but I have it figured out. So this first row here is stock, which is a beautiful flower that likes springtime, likes the cooler temperatures. Normally I would not start it in January, but I did. The reason being is that we've had a very mild winter so far, even though we have a major winter storm coming in 48 hours with some cold weather. But we've had a very mild winter, and the Farmer's Almanac is predicting an early frost, last frost date, and I just feel like that's going to be the case. So I do want to get an early start. Let's see, next here, this little row is red onions. This is the first year that I'm doing red onions. It takes onions a while to germinate, but we do have one coming. This is celery. This is not celery. That's actually just an extra seed that fell in there. Celery takes a while to germinate, so it's not up yet. And then I have spinach. Again, I would normally direct seed spinach, but I'm gonna go ahead and start it in single cells because it will again go under our makeshift high tunnel. And then the last tray here is easy because it is just a solid full tray of yellow onions. And I don't believe any of them have germinated yet, but I always start onions in January. And I started them at my normal time that I normally would. The only thing I started earlier than normal was stock. So those are the things that I have going so far here in January. We have about 1 week left of January. Again, I'm zone 6B. Those are the seeds that I have planted so far indoors. So I've got onions going, yellow and white. I have some stock, some celery, spinach, lettuce, snapdragons, and Chinese cabbage. Those are the things that I have going. In about another week or two, I will go ahead and get some broccoli, and I might try cauliflower. That's always kind of been iffy for me. We do have a local greenhouse that grows beautiful brassicas, so a lot of times I don't mess with broccoli or cauliflower. I just buy it from them. I do want to try broccoli again this year, so I'm going to try to get some of that started, and then I will start some cabbage, just some regular head cabbage, and a few more different types of flowers, and then I'll wait a few weeks before I get into tomatoes and peppers. Actually, I take that back. Peppers, I start early. They take a while to germinate, and they just take a while to reach maturity. So get all that going in the next few weeks. I am doing things a little bit earlier than this year because I do feel pretty confident that our last frost date is going to be a little bit earlier this year. And some of my cold hardy stuff, I'm confident in getting it out. And the things that are very sensitive to the cold, I'll just keep them inside if I have to, or bring them in the nights that I need to. I will never actually plant tomatoes and peppers, zucchinis, cucumbers, all that stuff into the garden until about May 10th. But I have no problem getting it started here inside a little bit earlier than I normally do. So I hope you will follow along on the garden journey this year. I love to share about gardening and the things that I'm doing, and I hope some of my information can be helpful to you, whether you're in the same zone as me or not. So stay tuned for some more growing information. Hi everyone, Suzanne here, and it is January and it is time to get started on getting some seeds planted inside. I am in Zone 6B and I am going to show you what I have going so far and what I plan on starting in the next few weeks.